Now it's a time about the next 3D Sonic platformer game, which is less stories and less gameplay styles. And again it's a port for computer. It's Sonic Adventure 2 Puzzle. Puzzle subtitle is for local multiplayer DLC, which I thought was a free DLC, but it is a paid DLC. The multiplayer part for this video I didn't touch. I still haven't got a working controller, which wouldn't be getting damaged under a short time, and at least for videos I don't use with what I could play the multiplayer part. Using a Bluetooth controller? I don't know about it. When I tried using Bluetooth earphones on the laptop, then the internet becomes slow for it. Anyways, about Sonic Adventure 2 Puzzle. Maybe I could emulate the original version, but because I already had it on Steam, then of course for easier access I chose it, Sonic Adventure 2 Puzzle, which I still couldn't finish it, at least at the time of writing the first draft of the script. First time when I played this game, I couldn't pass the final stage in Dark History. Now I couldn't pass the last stage, so I downloaded the completed save file to try post-wake after it. I couldn't do the first post-wake after the stage. Basically, there was little amount of checkpoints in the last stage, and getting game over restarting the stage from very beginning is a different chapter, and camera and controls work against me a little bit to finish the stage. So while I was downloading that completed save file, I figured to check out a video of the last stage. So it seems it's another Sonic game that I couldn't finish. Maybe after I finished reading the first draft of the script, I attempted to complete it. At the start of the game, you have access only to two stories, Era and Dark stories, but you will find out there are three gameplay styles. It's because when story progresses, then the game will be changing what character you play as, and with that the gameplay style will be changed. But more about this later in the video. This game was developed by Sonic Team Oasis. Now I guess say no is a Team Oasis or just Sonic Team. Well, I didn't find logos for previous the company's name. And at first Sega published this game only for Dreamcast. When Sega disconnected Dreamcast, they ported this game to GameCube, PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Windows, with Battle DLC, either as DLC or already in-game, varies by the system.
Sigma Alpha 2 heading due south over the city. We're en route. Everything's a go.
This is Control Tower. We have you on radar. Report cargo status of captured Hedgehog aboard. Over.
That's a 10-4. Cargo secured on...
Alert. Intruder alert. Security breach at Gate 3. Intruder has been located in the north quadrant and is moving in the direction of the underground base. All units prepare to engage. Emergency battle formations.
Of course, because at the start of the game, you have access to those stories, then each is on premise. An unlockable story is the last story, which happens after both stories. Another story premise is that Sonic was caught by police or something like that, because police think Sonic committed a crime. But because Sonic knows that he didn't do anything wrong, then he jumps out of the helicopter to flee the police. While fleeing, he might destroy innocent people's cars, whether there are people or not in cars. So E and his friends can figure out why Sonic is blamed for a crime. Darkseid story is when Eggman fakes a H-code called Shadow from stasis, and at first Eggman controls Shadow's force with Sonic. Because Eggman woke up Shadow, then Shadow says he will fulfill Eggman's wish, but asks Eggman to let Chaos Emeralds. And then everybody controls Shadow for Sonic for some reason. And of course the overall premise is from Dark Story's side, where Eggman woke up Shadow, and because of Shadow stealing a Chaos Emerald, Sonic is blamed for a crime. Really? I had people in the Sonic only were Squirrel? Blind. Understandable if they see it from security camera footage, but then there's no footage of Shadow. Okay, which is taken at night, but it seemed cops were liking the upside arena where Shadow was hanging around. There wasn't any explanations if Ellie's anthropomorphic hedgehog's color or even a second color size spikes in previous or in this game. So people confuse Shadow for Sonic for no apparent reason. But looking past that, the story is enjoyable, only even for this part. There aren't volume settings to balance out the then music drowns out dialogue, which can be interrupted by another character's else thing, so it's hard to hear the dialogue here and there. Thankfully, there are subtitles. About dialogues getting interrupted. Voice audio starts playing earlier than when it should have been played. And of course, Ellie's plays the game, I haven't seen how the story resolves. At least when I was writing the first draft of the script. But I can't remember the conclusion from when I watched this game's last play. Well, it's a good conclusion, which might or might not change in for the Sonic games. Now about 3 gameplay styles, which shouldn't be 6 gameplay styles because of those 3 options. No, these 3 styles are in both stories. Maybe a little bit of difference, not counting playing as a different character. Of course, because it's a Sonic game, then there is Sonic gameplay, which is hosted by Shadow and Dark Story. Running as fast as possible in fast-paced platformer level to reach each stage goal. Treasure hunting, looking for treasures, mostly for Master Emerald pieces, like how it was in Sonic Adventure, but with a Force Radar, which is done by Knuckles in Hero Story and by Roach Shepard in Dark Story. This game's radar shows only one treasure at a time. But why? Just to artificially increase the playtime? Thankfully, you still can collect treasures which don't show up on a radar. So it's mostly just using int monitors where to find the treasure. Lastly is a mecha gameplay which is done by Tails in Hero Story and Eggman in Star Story. So no more racing to beat somebody else by chasing flying shortcuts for Tails. Mecha gameplay is similar to combo gameplay for Sonic Adventure, minus having time limit. You can lock down on multiple enemies to get combo as high as possible, An old part fish can be healed by collecting rings or getting healing kit from item boxes. And of course the goal of Mecha gameplay is just reaching the goal for the stage. When you are playing a story, you can choose the character that you want to play as. Story progress dictates the character to play as. And completing both stories unlocks the last story, for which I make those already shared gameplay spoilers. Where in one level you play as multiple characters, only if you get game over then you need to start the level from the very beginning, not from the session where you play as a specific character. And then the camera and controls work against me in this final stage. So I will get annoying, so I will don't win instead. So here and there can be camera and control hiccups, and we did see that some hitboxes were weird. Like I jumped over enemies attack, but then I still get it. Maybe if there wouldn't be problems like that, then I wouldn't be annoying as much that I can't pass the final stage of the game. Overall, the gameplay is fun, but it may get a little bit annoying when it takes time to play a Sonic or Shadow in a Sonic game. So there's no upvolt in this game. Already in the second 3D Sonic platform game, upvolt was removed, so all upgrade lists are in stages. From the stage select screen you can access different missions of each stage, which is mostly the same in the same gameplay style. And that's not all for the game. There are a minigame and card recent minigame, which gets unlocked when you get to the minigame in story, which is a little bit different in story than when you unlock the minigame. By the way, when you get answers for the first time to this minigame in story, you make these 3 innocent people cards, which are driven by people, and then there is Tails or Rogue. In unlocked card racing, they are actual racing attempts in 3 lap races, in beginning, standard or expert course. The beginning course is different from the standard. In expert course, the only difference between standard and expert is if everybody can clip or not rock on each other. However, no matter what character I races, CPU's racer seems to get a start and with it, voice can take away rings, so following races can't get both ramp rings. And it seems there isn't a rubber banding feature in place. Okay, it isn't the main content of the game, but still it gets annoying when CPU says he starts and then there's a little rings left for me to catch up to the rest of the racers. And lastly, Java Garden, which is better than Sonic Underwater Java Garden, and for this part, it seems there isn't Vimeo leftovers. Like you can increase your stats by using items that you get from stage, and maybe leaving Jao in lessons and content, in which Jao can lead something. Only if you access a Jao garden from the end of the stage, then you can take the Jao to kindergarten, because even if you are holding a Jao event, when exiting Jao garden, you won't return to Jao up at the next stage, at least in the story mode. Only when accessing Jao garden from stage select you you can show the lesson. Of course, increasing show stats is for show race, but also for show character. It's just mostly automatic gameplay in both of the game modes. In racing, show race by themselves most of the time, but you still can cheat on show, which this time you can do whenever you want, but it also shows stamina. Show character show fakes in a tournament where they fight by themselves, until they get there where your input is needed. Just leveling up by spamming always a button, so they can continue fighting by themselves. Okay, now I can see the point of a Go Garden, but not as a side game in this game, but it shall be its own game. But I guess so far this is the best option for Go Garden. Go Garden. Go Garden. Is an official release status. By the way, Go Garden Safewall is separated by the main game Safewall. So no matter what game Safewall you are using, you return to the same Go Garden. When you complete the story, you unlock post-rush mode for the story. Only this mode still plays out the in-game cutscenes, which can be skipped, unlike how pre-rendered cutscenes can be skipped. Thankfully, if you lose a life in a boss fight, then the cutscenes doesn't play out. But how is that possible, but not when you enter in a boss fight from post-rush mode? For this playthrough, I restarted playing the game and with it, I found out Go Garden is separate, and with that, I thought Go Garden was glitched. Because I had left a show in a lesson, and when there was a different lesson, I still couldn't take out the show from the previous lesson. But at one point, I was able to get show out of the lesson. I restarted the game because I thought the game's audio was on record, which I may not need, but turns out audio was very silent. One other reason was the game audio in Windows Phone option was lowered. Other reason, for some reason, someday Apple always started to record very silent games audio. I increased the dB gain in OBS to 2000%, which is max %. For me there was a city escape glitch, which blocks visibility. Like some kind of fish channel is on top of Sonic at floating on top of the Sonic at, because which appears in a camera valley, it is a stage. So because this glitch happens only in one stage, it was I brought for the stage. But while searching about this glitch, I found out it happens mostly on Intel cards, which to this day for some reason isn't fixed. And how does this glitch happen? Like the version is supposed to follow Sonic, but Intel cards change its position to be on screen. And actually, I'm thinking that I have seen the explanation why this glitch happens, but I can't find that video if it was actually a video or I'm just misremembering. But I think I saw it was explained, but I couldn't find any explanations how this glitch happens. So it might be just that I'm misremembering. Thankfully, that is a fix done by once. Nowadays it is in Sonic converter to mod loader. Only I don't know if it's only in the no mod loader or both or in alt. Or just in alt mod loader. I also add crashes at environment phase in the same place. It's while you are on the rails sideways and crouching. This game introduced a rank system in Sonic games. I don't know what requirements are for each stage to get I get rank, but I have got a rank in some stages. Hero story Amy takes along, but you can play her in the story. Maybe she was meant to be playable in the hero story. Then again, more or less, she plays the same as Sonic in the multiplayer. From what I remember playing the multiplayer, there are more than just story characters to play as in multiplayer. But the gameplay is mostly the same, but compared with against the second player. Another thing introduced in this game was motion, which shares tips on how to play the game if you bump into it. In some instances, picking up items was annoying, because it's the same button as a character's ability. I found out you can't alt forward unless, because you can lose speed, and with that you can pass the rails, and also found out to just switch rails is holding direction button to that rail direction and then jump, but there still can be hiccups with that. Like it, for some reason the jump button switch those other rail for jump off for some reason. Or maybe because the camera changes angles, then with what the button does is changed. In both sides, they can push me into the bottomless pit, but if they go into the bottomless pit, they can return if they can't go to the bottomless pit in the first place. In one boss battle, after dealing more than out damage for a long time, I couldn't get it on the boss. In others, they can do attacks which are almost impossible to avoid. Really, why is that boss psychics like that? And why it is allowed to them to spam it? Turns out there are previewers in game for other stories. When I finish the hero story, the game shows me the story preview. And of course, when I completed both, the last story preview was shown for me. In some instances, I clipped through the fall. There is one treasure on stage that is a time limit, in which it is better to lose a life than let time run out, because the time will reset back when you collect previous treasure, and the treasure might be in easier locations. Otherwise, you not just will lose a life, but you will be needing to restart collecting all of the treasures in the stage. And of course, because Redder shows only one treasure locations, then it gets more annoying to complete the level in limited time. Sometimes I get pushed into a bottomless pit for no reason. In this game, you can pass the goal with completing a stage today. The day part, it is only in one stage, I think. Okay, when I started to write this script, I would rage quit the game. But while writing the script, here and there, I was just following the rage when stuff out of my control happened. But when I finished writing up to till the wrap-up section, I managed to beat the game. So some of it said might not be true anymore, unless I rewrote the script. Still, there were some problems. By the way, in the final boss, characters mentioned mentioned things. Maybe just a gameplay wager, and that's all they are telling the player you need to keep rings for final boss, but I'm not knowing that the characters knows about rings. Or maybe it's actual that characters know about rings. So overall, it's a good game. It just got on my nerves with not restricting the level with what the character I get game over. Like different characters weren't split into different stages, but needed to play as multiple characters in one stage. Then the camera and controls worked against me. The camera part also happened earlier in previous stages. But if you can get past these problems, it's a great game, and with a great story, now which is updated in the movie, but of course with changes. I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, like the video, subscribe and comment. See you next time.